Is it 1 minute?
It's after 7.
All right,
See, my
well,
iPad says 7.
all right. We'll go by Councilmember Washington's iPad. So I would like to call this meeting of the Temecula City Council to order. Happy New Year, 2014. Thank you for coming to the meeting. So could we have prelude music? Let's see, who was it? It was Emma Erickson, Hudson Erickson, and Hunter Erickson. Wow, stand up, stand up. Oh, they are standing up. No, stand up. Beautiful, thank you very much. And for our invocation, we have lead pastor Steve Redden of Cross Point Church, followed by the flag salute with Mayor Pro Tem Comachero. So if you'd please stand. Good evening.
Let's pray. Lord, we come to you tonight to recognize, first and foremost, that this city is not ultimately ours, it's yours. That the people, the resources, the dollars that you've entrusted to us are not ours, but they're ultimately yours. And so, Lord, I pray for these men and women who lead our city and lead so well. I pray that you would give them great skill for the calling you have on their life. I pray that you give them wisdom that would exceed their skill even. Then God, even all those would pale in comparison to the humility and the character and the integrity with which they will lead and govern our city. God, we ask this all for your glory. Amen.
Amen. Please remain standing. Place your hand over your heart and join me as we salute our flag and our nation. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. So could we have the roll call, please, by our acting city clerk, Gwen Flores? And I'm going to give a pull on the earlobe to our former city clerk, Susan Jones. So thank you, Gwen.
Councilmember Comachero,
Here.
Nagar,
Good evening.
Roberts,
Here.
Washington,
So excited to be here.
and Mayor Edwards.
Here. So we have first
Can I
and
change
foremost.
mine to being excited too?
Yes,
Okay,
you
all right,
may.
all right. Thanks.
Want to vote no on the roll call?
So past Mayor Nagar, so that we can have our meeting, I believe you have something for me.
Yes, I do. I was fortunate to have the honor of serving the city as mayor last year. And the honor was all mine because I think that the citizens of this community are just second to none. The staff that I got to work with is second to none. And frankly, the council I get to work with is just stupendous. I really enjoyed it. The council, in their wisdom, has chosen Mary Ann Edwards to serve as mayor for 2014. And I think that she's going to do a stellar job. So it's my honor and pleasure to present her with her gavel that she will use for 2014.
And we have a couple of other formalities here, not seeing it anywhere else on the agenda. I have for you, Michael S. Nagar, your mayor's plaque for 2013.
Thank you.
You can have it. Thank you so much. And for Mayor Pro Tem Comachero, I have your plaque as to present to you as Community Service District President for 2013. So thank you very much for your service. I also have a certificate of appreciation for Al Cosentino, who helped us by serving on our Public Traffic Safety Commission. So is Al here? Al, come on up. And if you could help go down and present him with his certificate.
At the podium now.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's mandatory.
we're huggers. So Al, we really appreciate your service on the Public Traffic Safety Commission, and that's where I kind of got my start, was on that commission, and it was a wonderful learning experience working with city staff. So we would like to take this opportunity to express our sincere gratitude for your many contributions of both time and talent in serving on the Public Traffic Safety Commission. As a member of the commission for a 3-year term, your dedicated service has been greatly appreciated. So thank you so much, and if you'd like to say anything.
Thank all of you very much, and to the committee for the honor and the privilege.
It's a pleasure. That's yours. Thanks again.
All right, so you've already gotten your plaques. I have some very special awards here, and these are a presentation of the service awards, which are awarded to city employees, council members, and commissioners who have served the city. And so I am going to start with, I'm going to do this in order, so Charlotte Fox. Charlotte, are you here? Come on down. You want to do these two, Jeff?
I'd be happy to.
Mayor Pro Tem Comachero is going to meet you. So Charlotte, 10 years has flown by on the Community Services Commission. So thank you so much for your service.
Thank you.
How many parks, do you remember how many parks we had when you started?
Oh, not nearly maybe 2/3 of what we have today.
Yes.
Many things have changed, but I think the thing I notice the most is even the way we conduct business in our commissions and the improvements I see in the city because of the service of commissioners.
Well, the city functions well with the commissions. They are the liaison directly with the community. You hold many workshops. You work directly with people. You hear a lot of cases that eventually come to the city council. So we appreciate your service so much, and congratulations on 10 years.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh, how pretty. Thank you so very much.
Oh, thank you. And we also have Chuck Washington, 10 years. He anticipated, so he's headed down front to receive his pin. Yes, you have to arrive early when you're the pilot.
Okay.
10 years. So would you like to make a brief comment about 10 years?
It feels like 3.
It does.
It went by so fast.
It does go so
Yeah.
fast.
It's an honor.
So thank you. And then Mayor Pro Tem Comachero, you're down there. You have a pin coming up too, Mike Nagar. I don't know how you're going to present your own pin. Perhaps, Mike, when you're down there, maybe you could present Jeff with his pin. So, Mike Nagar, 15 years, and you started after 10 applications as a planning commissioner. True? He always jokes and says, I applied 10 times.
That's exactly right.
To the planning
And true
commissioner.
story, I had a full head of hair, okay, when I started on this council. Thank you very much.
So you see what I have in store for me. So 15 years, and Mayor Pro Tem Comachero, 20 years. And I remember when you ran for city council. And it was, Temecula was much, much smaller, but still the best place to live, work, and raise a family. So do you have any recollections?
You know, recollections, yeah, we could all write a book, and I certainly could write my share. But there's, you know, people have probably heard me say this, and I never get tired of saying it, but it happens to all of us when we first come here to live, that you fall in love with Temecula, and you find out pretty soon it loves you back. And that's what happened to me, and it's just been a joy for the last 20 years, and I appreciate all of you and all of you, so thank you.
Thank you. 20 years. So you were all 7 years old when you started, right? Because we're going to add 20 years and 15 and 10 to that now. So we can move on to public comments. How many speakers are on public comments?
We have 3 requests to speak under public comment and 1 under consent.
All right. So a total of 30 minutes is provided so members of the public may address the city council on items that appear within the consent calendar or a matter not listed on the agenda. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. If the speaker chooses to address the city council on an item listed on the consent calendar or a matter not listed on the agenda, a request to speak form must be filled out and filed with the city clerk prior to the city council addressing public comments and the consent calendar. Once the speaker is called to speak, please come forward and state your name for the record. For all public hearing or city council business items on the agenda, a request to speak form must be filed with the city clerk prior to the city council addressing that item. Each speaker is limited to 5 minutes. So that's on public hearings or council business. So could we have our first speaker, please?
We have Ann Bowman and Ashley Berry coming up, to be followed by Amy Bruin.
Are you sharing time? All right, welcome.
Hello, good evening. My name is Ann Bowman, and
Right in the middle of the square, there you go.
Ashley Berry. Okay, well, good evening and Happy New Year, and just want to say congratulations to Marianne Edwards taking over the position of mayor. That's exciting. I represent Southwest California Pageants, and we are just here tonight to let you know about some things that are coming up, and I'd like to take just a minute and just let you know that we do pageants here in Southwest County. We do pageants for the 5 cities that kind of make up Southwest County. And the young ladies from Temecula that represent their city of Temecula are here tonight. Ashley Berry, our Miss City of Temecula. Really quick, stand up, girls. I'll just really fast introduction. We have Jade Kurtz. She is Teen Miss City of Temecula. Jessica Lawrence, Young Miss City of Temecula. And Nicole West, she is our preteen Miss City of Temecula. And Kirsten Buttry, she is Junior Miss City of Temecula. They are here tonight. These young ladies, if you've been out and about in the community, you've probably seen them at some of the local events. Of course, they do ribbon cuttings and chamber mixers and things. But they've been out at the Temecula Relay for Life, the Komen Race for the Cure, the Our Kids Rock event, which supports the Boys and Girls Clubs of Southwest County. They do things with the Evening Under the Oaks. They were at the Easter egg hunts out in the park. They do the parades. So these ladies have had a really, really special, wonderful year. And I'm going to turn the microphone over to Ashley because that year is coming to a close very quickly, and she wants to tell you a little bit about what's coming up next.
Raise that a little bit. Well, as they said, my name is Ashley Berry. I'm your Miss City of Temecula. I've actually lived here for 17 years, graduated from Chaparral High School in 2010. So being able to represent my city was a huge honor for me. And I just wanted to personally invite all of you to our pageant, which is Saturday, March 8th at Chaparral High School at 6 o'clock. We have personal invites for all of you, so you'll be hopefully getting those at the very end. And just a little bit about it, it's just a whole process of interview. You got the sportswear, evening gown, all that good stuff. So it's really based off of your personality, not so much your looks. So going out and being involved in the community is a huge thing for this company, and I would really love to see all your faces there. That'd be awesome. So thank you.
Well, thank you.
All right. So we'll just take a moment and I'll run these over. And then, so we're looking forward to thanking these girls for a great 2013, and then we'll be welcoming new young ladies for 2014. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you and congratulations. So what are you going to do with all your spare time?
Oh, that's a good question.
Haven't thought about it yet.
More pageants.
Or pageants. There you go.
Thank you.
Thank
Ma-
you.
Madam Mayor,
You may.
before Ann leaves, in addition to the hand-delivered, could you maybe send all of us an email invitation?
Oh, absolutely.
It's a lot easier, at least for me it is, and I think for my colleagues, to make note of something and drop it into the calendar.
I completely understand. Yeah.
So we
We'll take
appreciate
care of that via email. You bet.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And next speakers.
Amy Bruin, to be followed by Nancy Obenberger.
Nancy. Amy's first. Hi, Nancy. Come on up.
We won't bite. Hard.
Good evening, Mayor and fellow council members. I am here, Amy Bruin, CEO of Bruin's Infinity Experiences. I'm here to invite you all to our 5-year kickoff event that we're going to actually be launching from the fountain at the Temecula Civic Center on February 22nd. This is our 5-year kickoff anniversary event sponsoring the American Cancer Society. We've been a supporter of the community in nonprofits for over 25 years, so it was a perfect fit to bring us in and have us do a dinner en blanc. This is a mystery destination dinner, destination unknown, but of course to be in one of our great venues here in Temecula, Murrieta. You are all invited to join us. We'll be kicking it off at 5 o'clock here on February 26th. We'd love to see any and all of you on board. Of course, you know, you'll also know us from Bruin's Old Town Trolley. The Bruin's Old Town Temecula Trolley has been a huge hit in Old Town. We continue to grow community awareness. We're actually going to be sending out invitations to all of the local Temecula and Murrieta classrooms to have everybody involved. We've talked to all of our local organizations. We have meetings with the Convention and Visitor Bureau Center this week to see how we can actually expand, continue to grow, and encourage facilitation of the parking structure and get all of our local community members as well as visiting members to participate and support our local merchants. We, of course, have been supported by not only the City of Temecula, the Old Town Temecula Association, the original members of the banks, such as the Bank Sweet Lumpies, the Old Town Spice and Tea Merchant, Palumbo's Ristorante, and just as today, we also have the Wool Lady, Impulse Printing, as well as Mad Madeline's Grill. Sid would kill me if I couldn't remember Mad Madeline's Grill, who of course is our largest exterior sponsorship at this point. It's been a huge event. We love seeing everybody on board. The kids love the original Old Town Trolley, which has that wooden superstructure. We do look forward to unveiling that again this summer, retrofitted with a wheelchair access lift. Right now, we are currently running our Roussan, which has the wheelchair lift to be ADA compliant. And we're really excited about bringing back the Meritage, which is that old classic, harkens to, as far as I'm concerned, the true spirit of Old Town. And it will be retrofitted with a wheelchair lift so that the kids can enjoy ringing that bell and sitting the Old Town Trolley. And of course, everyone can enjoy the ride. So again, we look forward to having you all to our event on February 22nd. And meanwhile, the trolley runs on free to all of its ridership on Fridays from 5 to 9 and on Saturdays from 9 to 1. And we're excited about extending the program in 2014. We actually have meetings with the Old Town Temecula Association this week to talk about expanding the program. So thank you very much for your time, and you guys have a prosperous and just great 2014. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you for the service. The trolley's wonderful, wonderful. Nancy, how are you? Good. We did. We had a nice holiday, didn't we?
Did.
Yes.
Well, good evening, Madam Mayor and rest of the City Council. I'm here on behalf of Temecula Valley Hospital. Heart disease is the #1 killer of women in the United States, and it claims more lives than all cancers combined. Temecula Valley Hospital is proposing to partner with the city and host a Wear Red for Women event at your beautiful facility sometime in February, because February is Heart Month. I would love to be able to host this event at the hospital, but as you may well know, it was not built with me in mind. Your new hospital was built to maximize patient care. Patient-centered, family-sensitive is not just a tagline. It is the core of what we do and who we are. Consequently, I need to be a little more creative in providing events for community education on health awareness. And none is more important than heart health awareness, with cardiology being our main line, service line. It's imperative to address this subject. And it fits very well into the Quality of Life Master Plan Temecula 2030, with your goal of offering a healthy and active lifestyle to all. We are planning and hoping to feature female and heart survivor speakers, and that will inspire and educate the audience about taking charge of their heart health. In addition to the dynamic speakers, the event will feature health education, screening booths such as Ready for Red checklists to aid women in assessing their heart healthiness, blood pressure checks, assorted point of care tests, nutritional education, and heart healthy recipes, smoking cessation support, and the American Heart Association Go Red for Women Promise for Your Heart activity. We may throw in a fashion show, but we'll see. Please consider this request and help us help the community.
Thank you, Nancy. We certainly love the fact that Temecula Valley Hospital is open and beautiful and provides the wonderful services that we've needed for so long. So City Manager's office will be contacting you.
Great.
To talk about Go Red for Women.
Great.
And I'm ready.
She's ready. She's already in red.
I'm ready.
Love it.
So thank you. And no further speakers?
No speakers under public comment, one under consent calendar.
All right. So then we'll go ahead and take, you said we had one for consent, correct?
Correct, item 9.
Okay. All matters listed under consent calendar are considered to be routine, and all will be enacted by one roll call vote. There will be no discussion of these items unless members of the City Council request specific items to be removed from the consent calendar for separate action. And then we'll go back to City Council reports. How's that?
Works for me. You're the mayor.
All right. Now, I know you had a request to speak on item 9, and I believe we're pulling item 9, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
But we can still go ahead and have that speaker.
Madam Mayor, you can have the speaker, but that item has been pulled by the staff, so no action will be taken on it tonight, no discussion.
Okay. So who is the speaker?
Wayne Hall.
Wayne Hall, you want to come up?
Congratulations to all, and hopefully a great new year. On item 9, I'm not against the project. In fact, I'm for the project. But the problem I have is I can't pronounce the name of the street. It's a little French name. As you come off Rancho, California, and you go north on Butterfield Stage, the first left when you go in sideways into Chardonnay Hills, the itty-bitty little street there. Well, I've been traveling that road the last couple of days. I've been picking my grandson up, of many, but one of them from high school. And I usually go up that way just to see what's going on. But as you go up that cut through there, now I understand that first phase is done, they're working on second phase, and second phase from Solano down is being worked on eventually. But how long? Well, we don't know, 2 to 5 years. My problem is, as I was going north on 2 occasions, once my daughter was driving, better reflexes, and I was driving a second time with my grandson, people who want to turn left into the side track of Chardonnay Hills, there's no turn pocket there. It's just 2 little lanes. And on one side, there's a hill. And on the other side, you're coming down traffic in the opposite direction. Let's just say they're going probably a little faster than they should. But on both occasions, we had to slam on the brakes. And first time was the person didn't know which way they were going to go until the very last minute. And I thought she was going to pull out in front of another car. My problem is that road narrows that much in that one specific area. I mean, between the cutout from the dirt on the side, you can't go around it. I wish that the Traffic Commission or even our engineer could look at that. I don't know how long it'll take until we can get it out to 4 lanes, and I'm looking forward to it. But in the interim, I think somebody needs to look at that real closely, and I hope that I'm up here and I'm just wasting your time and wasting my breath, but I'm hoping that nobody gets hurt there. But I was there twice, and I almost met my neighbor a little bit too close. Could I ask the City Council to take another look at that? And I know that it'll take time for the full widening of it, but in the interim, and I don't know how long that'll take, let's take a good look at that. Because I think, I really fear that intersection. I really do. Thank you very much, and a great, great new year.
Thank you, Wayne. Mr. City Manager, would you have Traffic Division and take a look, and then maybe if it warrants, you can take it to the Public Traffic Safety Commission?
Yes, we'll look at that.
All right, thank you. All right, so let's move on to the consent calendar. Before we go back to City Council reports, we have item number 1, Standard Ordinance and Resolution Adoption Procedure. Number 2, Action Minutes. Number 3, List of Demands. Number 4, City Treasurer's Report as of November 30th, 2013. Number 5, Support of Riverside Transit Agency's submittal of a grant proposal application for the Caltrans Transit Planning for Sustainable Communities Grant Program at the request of Mayor Potem Comachero. Number 6, City Council authorization to apply for a housing-related parks program grant. Number 7, First Amendment to the Professional Services Agreement with Environmental Science Associates, Inc., ESA, for additional costs associated with the traffic impact analysis and the water supply assessment for the Jefferson Avenue Specific Plan Environmental Impact Report. Number 8, First Amendment to the agreement with Simon Wong Engineering for Main Street Bridge over Murrieta Creek Replacement, project number PW03-05. Number 9 is being pulled by staff. Anyone want to
Move
pull anything?
1 through 8.
Motion. And I need a second?
Second.
I have a second? All right, so we'll cast our votes.
Madam Mayor,
Councilmember Washington?
I'd like to ask the city clerk reflect an abstention on just item 2.1 for me, as I was not at that meeting, and I'll vote on the balance.
Okay, 2.1 abstention for Councilmember Washington. I need a second. There we go. Now we can cast our votes. And it is unanimous, 5-0. All right, I will adjourn. Oh, no, we're going to go back to City Council reports. So let's backtrack a little bit and go to City Council reports. I don't see anything in the queue, but I see Councilmember Washington pressing a button.
I forgot, Mr. Nagar's not mayor anymore. I'd like to just press his buttons, but.
Yeah, so don't be pressing my buttons. But
Yes, all right.
Let me go ahead, thank you.
Outstanding effort put forward by staff again for the holidays. Old Town looked fantastic, like a very magical place, and all of the activities that were scheduled. Just want to applaud the efforts put forth through the holidays and the end of the year. I was not able to attend the grape drop for the first time, but I saw someone who looked just outstanding, some kind of a celebrity, kind of resembled former Mayor Nagar at the grape drop, and so kudos to him for that effort, and Happy New Year to all of our constituents.
I thought Telly Savalas was dead.
Oh, jeez.
That
Not
was,
the mayor anymore. Nobody needs to be reverent to you, you know?
yeah.
Yeah. Leave the dais and cry.
I have no other names in the queue, but I do have something I'd like to mention. You want to go ahead? Mr. Roberts, go ahead.
I just want to make a quick comment about the Christmas season, and staff, once again, this year went way past what people would expect of staff that have a lot of other things to do during the Christmas season. But I have to tell you that this is my 22nd year starting, and this year during the holiday season I think was better than any in the past. I was lucky enough to have a couple of sister city visitors doing a personal visit to my house, and one of the visitors was 14 years old, and I just said, I have a surprise for you. I took them both out there, and after the first 5 minutes I realized they've probably never been on skates before in their life.
Ice skating?
But they stayed out there the full 1 hour and a half, never took time to rest or anything because they were having so much fun.
Oh, that's
And
good.
I have to admit, that's the first time I've really come out there, and I've been there before, but to have visitors from Japan there and having so much fun. I have to tell you, I'm just so proud of all our staff to put it together, and that was probably the best idea we ever had, doing a skating rink there, because it really works, and I hope we never stop doing that.
I believe that was Mr. Adams' idea when he was just a child, to have a skating rink out in front of City Hall, and it has been wonderful. People start asking about it in September. When's the skating rink going to open? So, yeah, thank you.
You know, there's a race when we open up the rink. And, of course, last year, 2012, Mayor Nagar and I raced, and I took the trophy. And so he didn't show up this year for some odd reason. I don't know why he...
You got back on skates?
Well, no.
Oh.
Someone on skates was pushing me.
Oh, that doesn't count.
We're a team.
I remember you were what we called a wall hugger, you know?
Yeah.
You're
That's
holding-
why I don't get on skates.
Yeah, that's okay. But hey, at least you were out there on the ice, right? I do have one thing I want to bring up. I am fortunate enough to work within 2 blocks of City Hall for my real job. So I decided that this year I would come and spend Fridays from noon to 1 in my office upstairs at City Hall. So if anyone wants to come and meet with the mayor or meet the mayor or ask the mayor a question or yell at the mayor or whatever, I will be in City Hall every Friday from 12 to 1, unless I'm out of town or vacation or something, which doesn't happen very often. So we'll be putting a little blurb in the paper, and all you have to do is show up at City Hall. If you want to meet me or meet with the mayor, you can ask questions or just have lunch with me. I'll bring a sack lunch. So you have to bring your own lunch, though. I'm not going to make lunch for everybody that comes. So come Fridays from 12 to 1, meet the mayor. All right, so I am going to recess now the Temecula City Council meeting and hand it over to President Jeff Comachero of the Community Services District.
Hi, thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to call this meeting of the Temecula Community Services District to order. Madam Clerk, please reflect that everyone is here this
Okay.
evening. Do we have any public comment under this portion?
No, we don't.
Then we'll dispense with the reading of the rules again. We do have only one item under consent calendar. That is item 10, approval of the action minutes of December 10th, 2013. We'll take a motion.
Move approval.
Second.
Mr. Washington, are you registering the same abstention?
Yeah, I can vote that way since it's the only item on the agenda.
Okay.
I'll just vote an abstention.
Okay, fine. That's great. Please cast your vote. That motion is approved 4-0 with the abstention by Mr. Washington as noted. Not much on the agenda in this portion of the meeting. Mr. Hawkins, what would you like to share with us tonight? By the way, I echo all of the comments about it. It truly was a magical time during the Christmas season, particularly down in the Civic Center area with the lights and the trees, and it just, I tell you, when we first started the Old Town project back in 98 or 99 with the sidewalks and the streetlights and tried to energize it, we had great hopes for what Old Town could become, and this city has exceeded those hopes and dreams. It just looked absolutely beautiful, and it's vibrant and successful, so great job.
I certainly appreciate it. I actually didn't have a report today, surprise.
I just made it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. But, there certainly is a Temecula way that's embodied not just by TCSD, but by all city departments and the Bureau and everyone who's here in this city. So it was magical, so thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Mr. Adams, General Manager's report.
Nothing much tonight. I just want to say thank you to the council for the recognition and the comments. We'll share that with the staff who did work incredibly hard, and it was a magical season, and appreciate the kind words.
Thank you. Do we have any additional board member comments? Seeing none, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn to the next meeting.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any objections?
Nope.
Seeing none, we'll stand adjourned.
All right, since we have no successor agency meeting, Temecula Housing Authority or Temecula Public Financing Authority, I will reconvene the city council meeting onto city council business, and we have our annual selection of 2014 city council committees, and we have a lot of committees. And just to preface that, I will say that your city council members are really hands-on, so we really do work on projects and on issues. And to do that legally, we cannot all five meet and talk about anything except what we talk about here that's agendized. So to work on those issues with staff, we divide up into two-person subcommittees, and that's what we're about to decide now is who will either continue to serve or who will serve on those two-person subcommittees. In addition to that, we have council members who are liaisons to our commissions, and so we'll be confirming those as well. So do you have anything to add to that, Mr. City Manager, or is there a staff report, or?
No, I think that was well said. We can break these down into groups or sections or whatever the easiest way is to tackle it.
All right.
If I could
Mayor
make
Pro
a
Tem?
suggestion, this does get very tedious, and I'm more than happy to have all of us take the time and go through it one by one, but we've been doing this all for so long that I think we're pretty comfortable with it. I would recommend that we take 11.1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 as submitted, including the name changes and the deletions as noted by staff, and go forward and approve them in one motion, and then we can consider 11.6, which is our new committees.
Okay, Mr. Washington.
I have a couple of comments. One's a question for the city attorney. What are the issues raised based on state law we've dealt with the last couple of years regarding voting on those paid assignments representing external organizations? Are we able to vote?
Yes,
on
all
those
members of the council are able to vote for the external committees, the paid committees. If you'll notice that the last item is a resolution that revises the Form 806.
Okay.
And that was the change in the FPPC rules. As long as you adopt that form and post it, you can vote for your own appointments to those committees.
Okay, and those are indicated on the agenda, so we don't need to go through them. And then the second question or comment I have, Madam Mayor, and I'm actually 98% in agreement with Mr. Camachero's approach. There were a couple of committee assignments that I had questions about, and maybe I can just verbalize those.
Okay.
I'm a little confused and wondering if there's some overlap. Jeff, you and I serve on the Civic Center Concert Ad Hoc Subcommittee, but you and Ron serve on the Civic Center Ad Hoc Subcommittee. And I'm not sure if there is some overlap or if Ron wants to continue doing that and we merge those just into one committee. And if he wants to stay on that subcommittee and continue doing the other work that you guys have been doing, I'm okay with that. But I just thought I would ask the question. And
I don't remember why we had that. Was that because we were doing, we started doing concerts in our civic center?
I think you and Jeff were the subcommittee leading into the building of the Civic Center.
That's correct.
Then we created, when we came back with the concerts, we created this new committee that's me and Jeff. And I wasn't sure that you guys actually had any of the work you were doing before, or if there was maybe a good reason just to go ahead and merge the two.
But if I may, there's still, in terms of the Civic Center Subcommittee, there's still the work to be done on the two vacant parcels, and we're going through that now. So that
Leave that like it is.
committee, or we could merge the concert into that committee. That's really, obviously, I'm on both of them, so I mean, that's, either way, I'm comfortable.
Yeah, that might be, at least we'll get rid of one, but we do
Well,
need that one committee.
Yeah.
I think that's what you were gonna say, Mr. City Manager, and I'm happy serving on the concert subcommittee. If you don't care, we can merge it into one committee.
Well, I want to be on.
On that?
our-
Okay,
our
we'll leave it
committee.
alone then.
Yeah.
Leave it the way
We've
it
been
is.
doing that for quite a long time.
Sure. All right, so that was one. I made a note here, Jeff, about the Teen Village Ad Hoc Subcommittee, and I'm not sure, I don't even remember why I made a note, so I'm just going to avoid making a comment on that one. And I think that was all I had.
So that doesn't change
yeah,
the
nothing-
recommendation to move
No,
on.
it does not.
All right, so,
Well, then I'll put that in the form of a motion.
yes, thank you.
And I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second to vote for items 11.1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right.
Point of order, Madam
Sir?
Mayor, if I may, for clarification on the motion, does that include the deletions that are listed?
Yes.
Okay.
Includes the recommendations as listed.
Okay, including the deletions, so it's staff
And the name
recommendation.
changes. There are a couple
And the
name
name changes. All right, so the names may be changed, but the players all remain the same. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. You guys need to push your buttons.
Did I second it?
I don't know, but somebody just did,
I
so
just did.
now you can vote. So- All right, so that's unanimous for point 1 through point 5. Now we come to new considerations. Consider appointing members of the city council to serve on each of the following ad hoc subcommittees. So we have the commission review ad hoc subcommittee, and Mr. Adams, can you explain to us what that might be? I think we know, but for,
Yeah, this was an item that we discussed with then Mayor Nagar last year, and there's a brief, I'll just read this, it's in the staff report, outline of a proposed subcommittee. It says, "The subcommittee will provide direction and recommendations regarding the review and responsibilities, expectations of all city commissions. The committee will meet on an as-needed basis and report back to the city council by November of 2014.
so, Councilmember Nagar?
Yeah, to my colleagues, both of these things were recommended by myself, and I wouldn't mind serving on both of these committees. It's been my desire to have a look at the commissions and recharge them, reinvigorate them, and make sure they're on track for this internet age in 2014. And also, of course, the infill issue came up when we were hearing a particular project about 45 days ago. So I would throw my name in the hat for both of these committees.
All right, so we now know what the Commission Review Ad Hoc Subcommittee will be, and the explanation for the Infill Land Use and Project Review Ad Hoc Subcommittee will be exactly what it says. Temecula is nearing build-out, and because of that, a lot of projects will be filling in vacant parcels that are kind of sandwiched in between other developments. So we want to make sure as we wind up development in the city that we continue to follow the same high standards that we have followed all these years. So any comments? Councilmember Nagar has thrown his name into the ring for the Infill Land Use and Project Review Ad Hoc Subcommittee.
And the commission review.
And the Commission Review Ad Hoc Subcommittee.
Oh, I'd be happy to serve on the infill land use if nobody else wants it.
Okay, so
I'm
Nagar.
flexible, I don't have to have it. but-
Nagar Comanchero.
I'll make that motion.
All right, we can take them separately. If we're, I see no one's fighting over the Commission Review Ad Hoc Subcommittee. With one exception, we've all served on commissions, but you did your penance as mayor of Murrieta, so.
Don't say that publicly, okay? They're a fine city. Then I would nominate the mayor then to serve alongside, and perhaps maybe we can rotate that each year so that whoever happens to be the mayor ends up being the other member of that commission review ad hoc subcommittee.
Okay.
I'll second that motion.
If I may, Madam Mayor.
That's one.
Well, Mr. Nagar is the other one.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, let's define what we hope that is. I think this is a kind of a one-time shot where the subcommittee's going to meet, get together, look at our commission structure, make recommendations to the council, council take action, then it's done. I don't know that the intent was to keep it in perpetuity.
So basically, what these two people will be doing is determining what commissions are doing now, how we might expand those duties, things like that.
Jeff, you may recall, but some time ago, back around 2005, we had discussion about this, sort of how to re-energize our commissions and sort of frame what were expected, and some of that came to fruition. We encourage our commissioners to seek a term as chair or vice chair, and we encourage them to take initiative within the framework of their commission. And I applaud Mayor Nagar's efforts to sort of revisit that issue. Mike, if that's your intent, is just to meet a couple times, relook at that, I'll be happy to join you in forming that and making a recommendation if that's what it'll entail to the council.
Yep, my understanding, of course, the council, we can change anything as we want. My understanding, my intent behind it was to do a few things. First, we're really delving into the area of human services. So first and foremost, we're looking at the Community Services Commission and determining whether or not that can function as also a Human Services Commission, or whether we start a Human Services Commission. And then moving from there, start to define what that merits of those things are. Also reestablish what the expectations are of commissioners. So that's community services, for instance. Same thing when you look at the Public Traffic Safety Commission. Not necessarily wanting to add members or have a new commission, but look at what they're doing and see that what we have them doing is exactly what we want them to do. Again, in 2014, and the impetus behind that is these commissions were formed in 1992. Okay, it's time we revisit them and that they reflect today, what we view today. It may very well be that they do reflect today, and if that's the case, that'll be the report coming back. So it's those things. I don't know what we'll find when we get there, but I think we just need to have the discussion and move on from there.
All right.
Well,
we've had, I'm sorry.
Yeah, some of what you've mentioned is kind of overlap into some of what another subcommittee is already doing.
Like what? What other subcommittee?
We already have a Human Services, what's it called? Human Services Commission, you and Marianne.
Well, I don't know that does that, but
Okay.
one of the things that we wanted to avoid as well is that, in fact, I should say me, because again, it's here because of me, was I'm liaison to the Planning Commission. I believe you're liaison to the Community Services Commission. It wouldn't be appropriate for me, based on our structure right now, to get in and say, hey, the Community Services Commission should be doing something. Well, I mean, you're the liaison. You need to communicate that with them. And if I wanted to, we'd probably need to bring it to council or bring it to the city manager. This enables us to look at it all without trampling on anybody's toes. I believe, Marianne, your traffic and safety. So that enables us to have a look at it, the subcommittee, empowered by the council, so that there's no surprises, and then coming back with recommendations to the council to determine again, what do we expect?
Let me rephrase that question that I just posed. You and Marianne are the Human Services Ad Hoc Subcommittee. What would you be doing different with that subcommittee than what you just outlined, what you wanted to take a look at in terms of human services?
Well, one is a committee that makes a determination on various human services components. One would have a look at human services as a whole from the commission level. So, I mean, when you're talking about human services, we have things with autism, Down syndrome, senior citizens. I mean, let's just kind of run it at the homeless. I mean, we can keep going down the list, but none of that have to do with the commission proper. None of that has to do with the commission proper. And whether or not we make a recommendation that a new commission should be formed, or that we expand the duties of the Community Services Commission. So, does that explain it?
If I could, and this isn't the agenda item, so I mean, we shouldn't get into too much of it, but I disagree with you a little bit, Mike. I think when, I know way back many years ago when I was on the Community Services Commission, it was the commission's charge, and I believe it still is the commission's charge, to handle that. To handle all of that, all those things you mentioned. When we first bought the Peugeot Street Community Center, that was converted from a community center to a human services center, and that's where we ran programs and the like, and it was all done under the Community Services Commission. So that infrastructure already exists. Now, if, as the new committee coming in, if you want to review that and determine whether or not that's sufficient or whether that should be expanded or whatever, I mean, or whatever the recommendations come forward, if you're on that subcommittee, whatever your recommendations are, they are, and I'm comfortable with that. But that structure already exists in the framework of that commission.
Maybe I'm not communicating this accurately. We've launched into a whole new realm of human services, a whole new realm. And it remains to be seen how Community Services Commission proper is interacting in that realm.
Well, I'd go further than that. I would say that they're not, but they should be, and I think that's part of the work there.
And that's the work. That's exactly the work.
No, I'm
Yeah.
agreeing with you there.
Yeah.
I think before we were to launch off into a whole new discussion of a new commission, let's get back and see what that commission should be doing.
Well, that's exactly the purpose of this. That's exactly the purpose.
So let me throw something else into the works here for you to consider. I have thought for several years that it's confusing when we have a subcommittee working on things like the Community Services Subcommittee, and then separately from that, we have a Community Services District President that works directly with Community Services. I've always thought the Community Service President should serve on the subcommittee that deals with the Department of Community Services. And I couldn't, because now you've got 3 council members involved, basically kind of doing the same thing, but we're not meeting in a group of 3, clearly. But you have a subcommittee of 2 deciding issues or bringing forth recommendations, doing the work and doing forth recommendations outside of the purview of the community service president, the district president.
Forgive me, Madam Mayor, I'm a little confused, maybe you can reiterate that another way. Where is there overlap?
Well, I don't know that there's well, I guess you could say that there's overlap. You have the TCSD president.
Mr. Comachero.
And then don't we have a subcommittee that works on different issues that dealing with the Community Services Department?
That's you and
right.
I. Right.
Well, we have a community services subcommittee of sorts, Jeff and I, because he and I pretty much shared the president of CSD
right.
for the last 10 years. And so we meet for a number of those kinds of issues that fall under the bailiwick of community services. So I guess I'm kind of saying I agree with, I see it that there's some overlap as well, but maybe I'm not understanding.
But in essence, doesn't that's the exact point I'm trying to make. That is the exact point I'm trying to make. There's a lot going on, and it doesn't seem to be clear how it's supposed to be operating. Just that simple. At the end of the day, we may have it all fall, where maybe it is the community services or TCSD president that oversees it all. Maybe there's components of community services or the human services element that aren't necessarily, let me back up a second. Where this became very poignant was we started to find out that in human services, a lot of it started to interact in community service projects. For instance, community services puts on an Easter egg hunt. Okay, human services wants to make sure that that special needs is included. Okay, so we found that there was an overlap. They needed to work together. Okay, however, there are sometimes community services is not putting on events, but human services is doing work. Are they related? Right now, they come under that same banner.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at it. Let's look at it. And if we're duplicating work, let's not duplicate it. And because I'm with you guys, let's identify it. Be even a little bit more succinct. And I'm not saying this is where it will land, but these are questions I have. Are our parks being visited by our community services commissioners? If so, how often? Do we want them to visit them very often? What about the attendance of events? Do we expect our commissioners to be at events? If so, how many? What's reasonable? Same thing goes with the Planning Commission. Same thing goes with the Traffic Safety Commission. 2-3 years ago, we did something with the commission where we got a report on some traffic problems that were happening over at Great Oak, and police looked into it, and this and that, and we were just sort of going to just go away. And this council said, no. You know what? We're going to look at every single school, have the Traffic Commission sit down, go take every single school, and make up a book that's going to have a traffic control plan for every single school. And they dove into it, and they did it. What do we want from the commission to do? What are their duties, and what do we expect them to do if you're a commissioner? That's it. other than just attending a meeting, okay? And that's it. We need to look at it. And it may very well find out that we are peachy keen, nothing needs to be done. Or it may very well find out that since 1992, the city has morphed and has new goals and new ideas, old traditions, new opportunities, and we want to change some things. That's all.
So to clarify, right now, is it true that human services does it fall under TCSD for the most part? It does. So the subcommittee will look at it in that component. Human services is under TCSD for now. They may come out with a different recommendation,
Absolutely.
but for
Right.
now, it will be under that
Yeah,
component.
because if we want to, let's say, expand human services, it may tax community services beyond what they do. We may very well want to get into the realm of doing things that are human service oriented that are not community service oriented. If so, let's look at what those things are. And let's see if they can do both. Let's have a good review. All it will do is maximize both. There's no downside to any of this. And at the end of the day, we'll just have a lot of clarity and a lot of focus.
And really, it's a strategic plan for each of the commissions.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else?
Well, I was just going to say, I'm a little confused because, Mr. Washington, no offense, but you kind of made two different recommendations there. The first one was for the mayor to be on it, and then you said that you'd like to be on it, so I'm just confused with if we have a motion.
At first, I was thinking it was going to be a standing ad hoc committee or a standing subcommittee until Mike clarified that. And so then I agree with him. It didn't make sense to have it rotating being the mayor if it's only going to be for a year. And then when I thought he meant something else, I was willing to jump into that, but I don't think I have a good understanding now of what it is that he hopes to accomplish. And actually, I'm not even sure, there may be a way just to get there to those meetings with two people from the council without establishing a subcommittee. The city attorney might advise us on that, but what's to prevent the city manager from calling a meeting with two council members to discuss an issue? Is there something that prevents that, Peter, if it's just a once or twice thing that's not going to continue meeting regularly?
Well, normally, the way this council is operated is that's really the definition of an ad hoc subcommittee. That you're only going to meet for a short period of time and come back with a recommendation or some comment. The danger you run into if you sort of make it informal is that you will have more than two council members participating in a discussion of that nature, which you can't do.
Jeff, did I clear up the confusion?
You did, and Madam Mayor, if I could make a motion, I do think it's a good idea to have the committee. I would go ahead and move in one motion that the commission review be the mayor and Mr. Nagar, and infill and land use be myself and Mr. Nagar.
You okay?
Yeah.
All right. So we have a motion. I need a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, so Mr. Washington and everyone cast your votes. Mr. Roberts, did you vote? There it is. All right, so it's 5-0. The Commission Review Ad Hoc Subcommittee is Edwards and Nagar, and the Infill Land Use Project Review Ad Hoc Subcommittee is Comachero and Nagar. Okay. Then, moving on, 11.7, adopt a resolution entitled Resolution of the City Council of the City of Temecula approving a revised Fair Political Practices Commission Form 806 regarding the appointment of council members to compensated positions. So, Peter, do you want to explain what that is?
As I said a little bit earlier, the FPPC, Fair Political Practices Commission, adopted a new rule that allows council members to vote for themselves when they're being appointed to a commission or committee that is compensated. And the commission's rule requires that the council approve a form that's posted on the city's website. So this is the action that allows you to make those appointments. It explains or lists the commissions that are compensated, who's been appointed to it, and then it's updated every year when you make changes to those appointments.
Okay.
Or it's actually updated every year, even if you don't make changes to the
Right.
appointments.
Yeah, I remember adopting this the first time. So, Mr. Washington?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you for the explanation again, Peter. You know, I know it's in the staff report, but I just want to verbalize for the public, in the interest of transparency, what those organizations are. We have the RCA representative, which is Mayor Edwards, Riverside County Habitat Conservation Agency Board, which is also Mayor Edwards, Riverside County Transportation Commission, which is Mr. Roberts, and the alternate is Mr. Comachero. Mr. Roberts is the alternate to the two previously mentioned positions. RTA, Riverside Transit Agency, is Mr. Comachero with Mrs. Edwards as the alternate, and WRCOG Executive Committee, and it says, and Zone Committee. I represent the city. Mr. Roberts is the alternate. I also serve on the WRCOG Admin Finance Committee. And Peter, I don't know if it's an important point to make, but both of those committees I serve on at WRCOG pay a stipend. And so I don't know if it's important to list them both, since they're both paid positions.
Those would be included in the form.
Okay.
Once it's completed.
Okay. The Zone Committee is not a stipend position, but the Admin Finance Committee, aside from the Executive Committee.
Right. We'll make sure those are listed separately.
Okay.
Unless people think that the stipend is $150,000. You spend an hour driving to Riverside, your meeting takes an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours, and you spend an hour driving back, and we're all away from our regular jobs, and so it pays $100. So we drive up, we do the work, we drive back. So I saw something on a blog this week that...
Mine's actually $150.
Oh, wow.
RTA is awesome.
Wow. So some of them are 150, and I happen to get some mileage reimbursement for one of mine, but I saw something on a blog this week, and it said, after all, the Temecula City Council makes more than the President of the United States. $600 a month, just to clarify, plus anything that any committees that you happen to serve on like this. So the state sets our salary at $600 a month, so this really is a labor of love for us, because we love this city. So, thank you for clearing that up. So,
I'll make the motion.
okay,
Second.
I have a motion and a second. And cast your votes. And we have once again adopted Commission Form 806 regarding appointments of council members to compensated positions. Okay, item 12 is very exciting, I think. City Council Action Committee for Health and Family Safety Local Task Force Member Acknowledgement and Direction at the request of Mayor Edwards and Council Member Nagar. And the recommendation is that the City Council introduce members of the local task force, City Council Action Committee for Health and Family Safety, or CCAC-HFS. I am not going to be using that. And provide direction and expected achievements. So, CCAC-HFS. I'm going to call the names and ask them to come up so that we may get to know you. And past Mayor Nagar has a little something for you. So we have Rachel Budd. Come on up. She brings the youth perspective. Andrew Doan. Dr. Doan. Matthew Harrigan. Matthew, how are you? Alex Wilcox. Elizabeth Harrigan. Jeremy Green. And Mrs. Barbara Tooker, who could not be here this evening because she has had a family emergency. Rhonda Ranke. Hi, Mommy. Rebecca Andrews, and Cheryl Eckert. And I'm just going to read you just the first paragraph. The purpose of the Local Task Force City Council Action Committee for Health and Family Safety, or CAC-HFS, as an extension of the Regional Family, Youth, and Health Task Force, is to serve as a grassroots advisory committee specific to the City of Temecula. In short, the vision of the City Council is to task you as a member in a shared goal of creating a safer, healthier community for our youth and generations to come. That's a pretty big task, don't you think? But I think you're all up to it. And so, Mayor Pro Tem, or past Mayor Nagar.
Thank you. And first of all, I want to congratulate you all. There was a lot of applications. And the council looked through all the applications and selected you folks. You have a look at each other because, and get to know each other, because what we're asking you to do is really probably life-changing for the citizens of Temecula. And we're asking you to be the eyes and the ears and the hands and the feet and take it out to the community. We started the Health and Safety Task Force. Dr. Doan, I think you kicked it off for us early last year with Hooked on Games and video game addiction. And we're looking at things like video game addiction, domestic violence, drug abuse, alcohol abuse, social media, sexting, and we're finding out that real tragedies are happening in our community, sex trafficking, things of that nature, right under our noses. And we're having everybody come and present it to a panel of elected officials and school board officials that are hearing these things. And these are officials from all of Southwest Riverside County. From, what were our cities? We had Murrieta, Temecula, Canyon Lake, Lake Elsinore, Wildemar, Hemet, San Jacinto, Menifee, and all, did I skip anybody? And Paris, and all of the respective school boards in those jurisdictions. All have been meeting either here or at Murrieta, and we're hearing these things. Temecula's been the first to say, you know, how do we, Councilmember Edwards and I, who are on that panel, take that information and get it out into the community? We can't. We just don't, we're not able to do it. We're just two people, nor is the council. But you folks are charged with doing that and representing the council, so it's no small thing that we're asking you to do. And I want to congratulate you and say, go get them. Use ingenuity, get ingenious, get aggressive, but take this out to the community in any way that you know how. So, Godspeed.
So, can you just step up to the microphone, each one of you, really quickly and tell us why you wanted to be on this committee? I know, it's a surprise, but...
Remember, Mr. Nagar just said, get aggressive.
Get aggressive.
I'm Alex Wilcox. I'm 17 and a junior at Temecula Valley High School. I actually applied for the task force, seeing what's going on with my peers and myself actually with a lot of the stresses. And I was hoping to use my unique perspective to bring a bridge between the problem and solution. And thank you for selecting me, and I will do my very best.
Excellent. Thank you, Alex. Who's brave? Who wants to be next? Come on, come on.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Eckert, and I've been attending some of your task force meetings, and the first one actually with Dr. Doan, really, my head was spinning after leaving that because I had no idea any of that information. Some of the other topics I was more familiar with. So I just thought, just as you said, Mr. Nagar, that this is a huge task, and this word needs to be educated through our wonderful community. And so I'm excited about trying to share that information with the kids and the parents.
Excellent, thank you. Next.
I'm Rebecca Andrews. I moved to the area recently with my husband and 2-year-old son. I'm a stay-at-home mom in this community, and I want to make sure it stays as good as it always has been. And also, I come from a background with Big Brothers Big Sisters, and I was a mentor and also part of the Young Professionals Committee. So I have a lot of ideas and things I'd like to implement that really do work in this department. So I'm really excited. Can't wait to get started.
Excellent. Hi.
Hi, Mayor Edwards, council members. I'm Dr. Jeremy Green. I'm a chiropractor here in town, and so it's a natural fit for me to want to take care of the health and safety of youth. I work with the youth in my church, and I really see the stuff that they come out of high schools with, and you know, just being able to nurture that while they're young, I think is going to be important.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Harrigan. I'm a 10-year resident of Temecula. I'm the mother of 2 high school boys, and I've been involved in PTA at all the different levels, all the way up to council. The reason that I chose to put in my application was because I've seen that parents, as their children grow, they become more and more detached. There's less and less opportunities. Lots of people are in the PTA in elementary school, very few in the high schools, and I just wanted to look for ways to have parents stay connected with their children and to give them the information that they might be overlooking as their children grow and scurry out of the house with barely saying hello to them. So.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I am Matthew Harrigan, a freshman at Great Oak High School. I became interested in this task force when I was serving on the 3rd District YAC, which is the Youth Advisory Council.
Mm-hmm.
And we were working with people who are having these same problems, usually children, so I wanted to see other ways that I could reach out to them and help them.
So you're bringing some experience to the committee. Excellent. My son served on the YAC when he was in high school, so thank you very much.
Hi, I am Rachel Budd, and I'm a senior at Chaparral High School. I was interested in joining the committee because I have had experience with Students Against Destructive Decisions, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and peer leaders in ASB at my school. So I wanted to be able to bring all the knowledge I've gained through those and my high school perspective to this committee.
Thank you. Are we hearing a common theme, being youth? Yes. Dr. Doan.
Thank you, Mayor Edwards and councilman members. This is an honor to serve in this task force. You know, I'm passionate about this. I'm a research neuroscientist. I'm a physician. I'm a father with 2 kids at Great Oak High School and 1 at Rancho Christian. I've been touring in the country for the last year, giving talks around different communities on the effects of technology and internet and video game overuse. And I'm getting emails and parents who are desperate and don't know what to do. And so my passion is try to translate what we know about peer-reviewed research to help our youth, because that's our future. And so that's really why I'm here, is to help our community stay safe, stay productive, and let's help our youth excel in this digital age rather than wither away and become introverted digital addicts. Thank you.
Thank you. Grandma Ranky.
Good evening, Mayor Edwards and council members. I am a mother of 2, a stepmother of 5, and a grandmother of 16. I and my family have been in the Fallbrook and Temecula area since 1984. I'm a retired small business owner, and I decided when I retired I was going to get a little more involved in the community that I loved. And I just think Temecula is an exceptional community, and I'm excited to be a part of this committee. I currently serve as president of SAFE locally, and I also serve as secretary for the Rose Again Foundation, a foundation formed by my granddaughter, Natalie Rose. Both of those kind of tie in with this family health and safety, and so I think some of what I learned from each of these organizations I'll be able to share and kind of blend some of that, hopefully for the better of the community.
So thank you. We are so thrilled to have you serving on this committee, and I think we have a great representation here. Put your track shoes on. That's all I have to say. It is a big task, but it sounds to me like you're up for it, and the residents of Temecula will be better for it because of your service. So thank you so much, and let's give them a round of applause.
While we're at it, Madam Mayor, I believe we have our final regional task force meeting this Thursday at 4 p.m. I believe it's here in these chambers.
Yes.
And the topic is?
Well, it's Melissa.
It's drug and alcohol abuse, I believe, substance abuse.
Drug and alcohol, substance abuse, and I think we have some good speaker. I think it's Rocky Hill.
Yes, Rocky Hill.
Rocky Hill, and a lot of people here in town know who Rocky is.
And the meetings are open to the public, so if you're dealing
right.
with any of these issues, you're welcome. And You can come talk to council members, or you can even talk to the experts after the meeting. I know Dr. Doan was very generous with his time after he came and spoke to us, and there was a lot of concern about video game addiction. So feel free to come to the meeting.
Get exponential.
Yes.
Spread it. Get exponential.
Yes.
And then I have to just say hi, Emily, and Dr. Doan's family out there. Hi. Hi, you guys.
So do we still need to vote?
I have
Yeah.
selected my button.
Okay.
Here.
Oh, there you are.
Mr. Nagar, I think you just said something very profound.
What's that?
I think that's the tagline for this task force.
Get exponential.
Get exponential.
Yeah.
It's a great tagline.
Yeah, I like it. You know what? You guys go out and recruit people and get people excited. Let's just have this be a wave through the community. You know, I don't want to be redundant and keep saying this thing, but you know, a student can make a mistake by texting the wrong thing, and it can ruin their life. There's bullying out there that kids commit suicide because of. It doesn't have to happen here, and if we can prevent it here, it's because all of us, this whole community, engages in it. That's the point of all this.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Councilmember Washington. No?
You like that, Chuck?
It's been said.
Yeah.
All right, so do we still
Like
need to
that.
vote on this item?
Do we need to vote? I don't know.
Do
if
we? Is it a receive and file, or? City Council introduced, so it's just an introduction. Oh, all right, I think we're good. Then we are on to City Manager report.
Madam Mayor, members of the council, and members of the community, it's my privilege to introduce our new Community Development Director, Armando Villa, and welcome him to the executive management team and to the city of Temecula.
So Armando, would you like to say a few words? Push your little button on, there you go.
I went to training, yeah. Just want to thank Mr. Adams and Butler for giving me the opportunity to be part of this team. Very dedicated group of individuals, and I'm just glad to be part of the team. Thank you.
So did you learn the secret handshake? You
Not
got
yet.
your secret decoder ring? We're all squared away? The hazing, let the hazing begin. Okay?
Mayor Mike, do you have some inspirational words for him as well?
What was that?
Do you have some inspirational words?
No, that's
Kick
okay.
it up a notch or two?
No, but I will tell him he's going to get a nickname pretty soon, okay?
Yeah.
So just expect it.
That's
Okay,
right.
Kevin Hawkins over there, he's known
Hawk.
as the Hawk, and his crew is known as the Hawkettes, okay? So, and they're out there, so just expect it.
Yeah. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. So following that, City Attorney's report.
Madam Mayor and members of the City Council, we did have a closed session. The council gave me direction with respect to the matters listed, but we have no actions to report under the Brown Act tonight.
All right, in that case, I will accept a motion to adjourn to the meeting of January the 28th.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
No.
And one no.
Gets to stay.
He gets to stay. You can stay till the next time then, Mike. And this meeting stands adjourned.